Do you know why John Cena said this?
I'm a human being, and each and every one of you has been awful to me. All you do is be hurtful.
There was one incident in 2015 where a live WWE crowd did something so heartless to Cena that it would crush any wrestler's spirit. On one night, Cena faced Seth Rollins in a match on Raw. As Rollins delivered his usual jumping knee, he accidentally squashed Cena's nose. But this wasn't just a minor injury. Cena's nose was completely squashed from one side. He was having trouble breathing and was in excruciating pain. But despite that, he continued the match so that fans could go home happy. But the injury was serious. Cena had to undergo immediate surgery, and it would take him weeks to recover. But just 2 weeks later on Raw, when Rollins came to address the crowd, and he played the footage of him breaking Cena's nose, this is what the crowd said. Was Cena lying when he said this?
All you are is abusive. And all you've ever done is bully me into being your damn puppet and expected me to do it with a smile on my face.
No, he wasn't. Cena was telling the truth, and it all goes back to one incident in 2013 when the fans seriously crossed a line. Back in July of 2013, Cena felt pain in his arm and noticed that his elbow had swollen up with fluid. WWE doctors told him he had torn his tricep and needed immediate surgery, but Cena said no. He was the champ, and he didn't want to vacate the championship, so he pushed through the pain for a month until SummerSlam, where he dropped the belt to Daniel Bryan, wrestling for over 20 minutes with a torn tricep. But Cena had reached his limit, and he couldn't delay surgery any longer. So on the next night on Raw, Cena told the fans he had to undergo surgery and would be gone for 4 months. And this is how they responded.
Any longer, tonight I leave the WWE.
This is Cena kissing his best friend's girlfriend. This is Cena shoving his injured best friend. This was Cena becoming the villain everyone wanted. Back in 2012, when The Rock returned after 7 years to face Cena, the WWE planned to finally turn Cena heel. They had everything ready. A new theme song and even new attire where Cena wore singlets, a boxing robe, and wrestling boots. They even showed the signs on Raw. But then they ran into a big problem. Cena and WWE couldn't sell his colorful merch anymore. Cena couldn't make more Make-A-Wish appearances as a bad guy. This meant the WWE and Cena could lose millions and even their good public image. But Cena was still on board to turn heel. But the final call to cancel it was made by Vince McMahon, who finally got rid of John Cena's spinner belt. Almost every wrestler wanted the spinner belt trashed. Edge.
I hated the spinner belt.
RVD.
And look at this one. It spins.
And even Jim Ross, because when Cena brought in the spinner belt in 2005, it was only meant to be used while he was champion for about 9 months and was supposed to be changed when Edge won the title. But WWE changed their minds and kept the spinner belt for years because kids were buying them like crazy and WWE was making a lot of money. But finally, after 8 long years, the belt was finally retired by The Rock. This funny WWE segment was actually the most stressful moment of John Cena's career. A few months after his debut in 2002, Cena was told he would be released at the end of the year because despite being given numerous opportunities, he failed to connect with the audience as he lacked a distinct personality. But fate handed him one final chance to prove everyone wrong. During a bus ride on WWE's European tour, Stephanie McMahon overheard Cena freestyling and was so impressed that she convinced Vince McMahon to completely overhaul his character, giving him one last opportunity to save his career.
I'm gonna go out, and if I fail, I'm taking the blame, and I realize the blame is me walking away and never coming back.
So, on the 2002 Halloween episode of SmackDown, Cena debuted his rap gimmick, and for the first time in his career, fans truly resonated with his character. But looking back, did The Rock really hate John Cena? The short answer: yes. It all started in 2012, when Cena and The Rock were trash-talking each other before their big match at WrestleMania 28. But on one night, Cena went completely off script and said this:
I don't need words like respect and loyalty to trend worldwide, just like I don't need my notes for my promo on my wrist.
The Rock had a very busy schedule, so he didn't have time to memorize his notes. And when Cena called him out on it, he was furious. To him, what Cena did was unprofessional and a breach of trust. And the only way Cena got back on The Rock's good side was by not only apologizing to The Rock, but also to his mother. This is the reason why fans hate WWE. Back in 2011, when fans were complaining that the shows had gotten boring, the WWE did something shocking. On the WWE Draft Show, the first draft pick of the night was Raw's top star, John John Cena. After 6 years as the face of Raw, Cena was headed to the blue brand, and this would change up everything. Cena even put on a SmackDown shirt and spent the rest of the night hanging out with the SmackDown guys backstage. But then SmackDown GM Teddy Long came out and announced that the final match of the night would have SmackDown's Christian, Mark Henry, and John Cena taking on Team Raw for the final draft pick. As the SmackDown team looked to pick up the win, Henry suddenly ambushed Cena and then Christian, with the Raw team picking up the win. And so the last person drafted to Raw was John Cena. This old John Cena promo might just ruin how you see him forever. Before he was the face of WWE, before his iconic catchphrases like "You can't see me" or "The champ is here," even before he was in the WWE, Cena called himself the prototype in a tiny promotion called UPW. And wait till you hear what he used to say back then.
I am 50% man, 50% machine. You are 100% fatality. Ah!
In 2008, Triple H did something diabolical when he was put in charge of Raw for one night. The game was just days away from his triple threat match against John Cena and Randy Orton at WrestleMania. So to tilt the odds in his favor, he announced a brutal main event. Cena and Orton would be forced to team up against the entire Raw roster. Despite being at each other's throats, Cena and Orton realized that to survive, they had to be on the same page, just for one night. As the match began, they fought with incredible resilience, unleashing a relentless barrage of attitude adjustments and RKOs, eliminating 5 opponents, one after the other. But just as they were gaining momentum, the frustrated roster swarmed them all at once, and all hell broke loose. With Orton and Cena laid out motionless, a satisfied Triple H made his way to the ring to deliver the final blow. 2 devastating pedigrees. While Orton and Rhodes are on top of the wrestling world, their former partner Ted DiBiase Jr. might never see the outside again. Back in 2008, Ted DiBiase Jr. was part of a group called Legacy, alongside Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes. However, while Orton and Rhodes went on to become wrestling legends, DiBiase struggled to find the same success. So he left WWE and then retired from wrestling in 2017 to focus on building businesses. But in 2022, things took a dark turn when DiBiase was accused of using welfare funds meant for the poor to buy a boat, a car, and a house. Ironically, while his father was famous for pretending to scam people as part of his wrestling persona, DiBiase Jr. is now accused of doing it for real. And though he's currently out on bail, if he is found guilty, he could face up to 80 years in prison. 5 forgotten John Cena moves we'll probably never see again. First, we have the Emerald Flotion, which Cena used regularly in his early days, but only pulled out occasionally later on. Unlike his missile dropkick and his running neck snap, called the Throwback, which he completely stopped. Then there's one of his best-looking moves, the Sunset Flip Powerbomb. And finally, the most unexpected move of them all, the Springboard Stunner.